I have a hot chocolate?
Skin love. Ask Sam if he'll get you one.
Well...
Oh, she joined us when she was just 7 years old. Daisy Campbell's here as Amelia says goodbye to Emmerdale tonight. Right, soaps now, and Daisy Campbell is saying goodbye to the Dales tonight after a long 13 years, can you believe it? And with Tom finally behind bars, Amelia and Belle are in need of a fresh start.
Look, if I hadn't told you how grateful I am to you...
You don't need to be grateful.
I do. Because when you first told me about him, when you tried to warn me, I would just... I were awful.
No.
And I know you were only doing it to protect me from him.
Yeah, at first, maybe. But then I had to see it through. For myself, if no one else.
Still, thank you. So, what now?
What for us? We start the rest of our lives.
Well, Daisy Campbell, who plays Amelia, joins me now. My goodness. That is such a big storyline. Yeah. It's such an important, powerful storyline about coercive control and about manipulation and eventually some justice. What a way to go out, though, hey?
Literally, it feels like so weird. It's come around so quick because obviously we're pre-filmed, so I left like nearly 2 months ago. And now that it's on screens, it's like crazy. But I feel like I've healed and I feel like it's the right time to go for me. But seeing it tonight, I can't wait to watch it and just to see my exit and see what we worked so hard on.
And how will you watch it? Have you got people coming round?
Yes,
yeah.
We're going to pop a bottle of bubbly. And
you and the family?
Me and the family, me, mum and dad, and just do what we did when we first watched my first episode, like 13 years ago. So yeah, we're just going to have a nice calm night tonight, have some bubbly and watch my final episode.
Oh, will there be tears?
I think there will. I hate watching myself though, so my toes curl a bit. It's really weird. I like to watch myself on my own. But I think there will be. It's an emotional moment. Like, I've come so far, so to say this is finally my last episode, I think it'll make me tear up a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned that first one. I mean, do you remember because you were 7?
7 years old.
I mean, do you remember what it felt like to watch that first show? Can you remember that with your parents?
I can, because I used to be a dancer growing up and I had all my dance friends round and
Did
the
you?
mums, and that's how we like kind of watched it all together. And it was in the living room and that's where we're going to be doing it tonight. So it's going to feel weird 13 years later, like watching myself as a 21-year-old on the show rather than 7.
Well, shall we remind everybody about your first ever line in the show? Let's take a look.
Can I have a hot chocolate?
Skin love. Ask Sam if he'll get you one.
Well...
Well, I'm not sure if you ever got one, but 13 years later, there you go. That's the hot chocolate for you.
Thank you.
I just got you one. There you go. I'm not sure if it's any good, but you can have it. It's an ITV version of hot chocolate. There you go. But listen, 7 years old. Did you have any idea about what you were getting into and why did you end up in it in the first place?
Yeah, it's weird because landing your first job at 7 years old is like not normal.
No.
So as I said, I was a dancer. My dance teacher was like to my mum, you should take her to this drama school where I'm taking my daughter. And I went and I did auditions for a year, sorry. And then I got the role of Emmerdale because I went for the audition. He wanted me from the start, the old producer, but I had to do the normal audition process like everyone else. And then I landed the role at 7, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I remember the first day that I got it because it was our sports day at primary school, and my mum phoned the classroom and was like, oh, can we bring Daisy down at reception? I was like, wait, what? And she was like, oh, we're just going to tell you about your brother's sports day. And then she went, oh, your new name's Amelia Spencer. And I was like, oh my God. So I think like I didn't really take the job seriously at first because I'm 7, like I'm having a bit of fun, but then you reach a certain age at like 13, 14 where you're like, OK, I actually want to do this as a real job.
But it had an impact on your school life and, of course, how other people treated you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think, like, I've always been one of them to just be confident, ignore the noise of people, you know, taking the mickey a little bit. But I just got my head down, got through my schoolwork and then took this as my real job, and it's
so there was there a bit of jealousy, do you think, going on at school? Or?
I think so. I mean, I hate to say people are jealous because I'm just not that type of way, but I think there was. I mean, your kids in high school, it was
Yeah.
pretty rough, but I just blocked out the noise and got on with my
Well,
job.
good for you. And actually, you know, you started by saying that you left 2 months ago and you've healed, because it was, I think, quite difficult, was it? I mean, did they
Yeah.
call you into the office and say...
Yeah, it's been a difficult year. I think I've always took pride in this job. Obviously, it's not just been my home, but it's where I've learnt my craft. And it's something that I'm going to take on with me, what I've learned, into other jobs. So it was at the beginning of the year, didn't see it coming. It's been a really tough year. I had to do loads of work on myself and put myself first. But I definitely feel like now I'm finally in a place where I'm like, I've healed. Everything happens
Did
for
you
a
feel
reason.
quite hurt?
Yeah, I definitely felt hurt, taken aback, really, just shocked. I was like, I couldn't stop shaking. But, you know, time's passed. I got on with the storyline, put everything into it that I could because it was my last one.
And of course, you know, you've had some corkers in 13 years. As you got older, you had the teenage pregnancy. Was that the biggest one for you? Was that the biggest sort of storyline when you look back?
So. I think, like, growing up, you hit a point in a soap where you have to actually grow up in the soap, and that was my one where Amelia turned actually into an adult. So having my own baby in the show was like her becoming a mum. And yeah, it was definitely my favourite storyline. I loved it.
And you were always a bit older than the character, weren't you? Is that right?
I was always younger. So
you were young.
Yeah.
So hang on. So you were...
So I was playing, by the end of it, a 17-year-old, and I'm 21.
Yes, fine.
Yeah.
So you in real life are older than the character that you're playing, yeah.
It's always nicer to play someone younger, though. It's like a compliment to
Well,
look
also
younger.
because in real life you need to have the maturity to deal with things that are happening at a young...
Yeah.
And what next?
Oh, so I didn't expect to work until like next year because obviously I've left so close to Christmas. I've never been and done anything else. So I'm new to the industry basically outside of soap. But I excitedly filmed something a couple of weeks ago that's coming out next summer, and I'm announcing something tomorrow that I'm doing like a smaller project next year.
You can tell us today?
No, I can't say anything till tomorrow. But it's something exciting, something I've always wanted to do. And then the other thing is coming out next year. So
well, listen.
I've been busy. I didn't even expect it.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled for you. And what a high to end 2024 on. So cheers to you. Well done.
Cheers and hot
chocolate. Cheers. Enjoy your hot chocolate.
Thank you.
Listen, a final episode for you, Emmerdale, continues tonight at 7 p.m. on ITV1, and give your mum and dad a squeeze from us, because I'm sure it's emotional for them too, as well as you. Lovely stuff.